For full episodes as they air, listen to Rants Hollywood Talk on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and blogtalkradio.com/GrantsRants.
Broadcasting from Hollywood, California, it's Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
Granny June is back to judge the good and bad of summer TV. Claus returns to TNT. And what does one Bachelorette contestant have in common with Sherri Shepherd? Heather Locklear is released on a 5150, and June reviews the film Mother, right here. Let the ranting begin. I am joined by Granny June Flori from Rhode Island on the line. Welcome to the Rants.
Hi there, Grant. Hi, everybody. I'm back again. Just turned 89 the other day, and I'm still going strong.
Well, you said it. You said it, not me. Good. You said
I've done a lot of research on some TV programs that I might or might not look at.
Yeah, I prepared a few things, too. I don't know. The summer TV is a little divisive.
It is.
Let's take a look. All of this comes from TV Guide magazine, the old school version, and TVGuide.com. Let's take a look at some shows. I'll go first on my end because I'm a little disappointed in this one show. I was very excited about it. I don't know if you read anything, but I'll fill you in. It's called Succession, and it came out on the 3rd on HBO.
Yeah, I've read about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's set in New York. It explores the theme of power, politics, money, and family. It's only 10 episodes. Brian Cox plays Logan Roy, the aging patriarch of a family-controlled media conglomerate. Well, that's the business, I guess. And then when he begins to step back from the company, his family begins to contemplate the future and what it holds for them. It kind of mirrors the Murdoch family. Well, I saw this advertised on Sunset all over the place, and I thought it looked like this real family-driven, soapy, backstabbing drama. No, it isn't.
No. Well, in the TV Guide, Succession, they say, satisfy your craving for watching rich jerks behaving badly. A slick but often hollow vehicle from British comedy. And that, this guy, he sets off a cascade of intrigue among the custom-suited twerps jockeying for power. I read about it too, and I said, no, that doesn't seem to appeal to me.
No, and I read different things, and I said, somebody said that there was a little bit of humor mixed in. So I said, okay. I said, if it's a little campy, then maybe it'll be good. So I did watch the first, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 minutes of it, and I turned it off. It was not for me. It lacked any type of dimension of it being a little less serious. It lacked any type of humor. It lacked any type of light.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just very dark, and it moved slow.
Just by reading about it, I could tell it was going to be not very good. So that's one of the shows that I put my thumb down on. No.
Yeah, I rejected it. Yeah.
I wouldn't be interested in that.
Judging by the way they had the billboards, they this very rich family on expensive furniture posed like a family portrait. Yeah. I thought, I said, oh, finally, something soapy, like a darker dynasty. No, it doesn't bring anything to the table for me.
Well, usually when things are really, really advertised over and over again, it's because they're not that great, and they have to make you want to look at it.
Oh, that's kind of true, yeah.
Yeah, watch out for anything that's super, super over-advertised. They usually stink.
True. What about you? Anything in TV Guide that you want to talk about for the next show?
Yeah, well, this Dietland, it came on June 4th on AMC. It's a savage and well-timed satire. This girl, Alicia Plum Kettle, she has had many failed diets, and she gives advice to damaged girls. She gets attention of the secret society called Jennifer, and they're radical feminists who throw men accused of sexual misconduct from planes.
On
Plum is
planes.
lonely, troubled with weight loss and unhappy body image. She decides to have a weight loss surgery. It could be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that. You know, at first I was like, I don't know about the show, but AMC has good dramas, and if anything popped out to me on this list of all these shows, would probably be in the top for me as
yeah,
something
me
I
too.
would give it. I'd give it a chance.
I would. Yes, I'm gonna look at it.
Juliana Margulies
It
is in
sounds
it.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Juliana
sounds pretty.
Margulies. She usually only does top brow stuff, so I think it
Yeah,
would probably be a safe bet.
I think so. And I liked Good Behavior with Michelle Dockery and Breaking Bad, and of course, she this Marty Knox, and she co-produced Unreal, and she did a good job on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'll give that Dietland a try.
What's next
There
on
was,
your list?
well, there was one Yellowstone that premiered Wednesday, June
Oh,
20th on the Paramount Network.
what's that about?
And
I'm not familiar at all with that.
well, that has Kevin Costner. Now he's a good actor, and he plays widower John Dutton, and he's the sixth generation of a Montana ranching family. And the ranch, he says, is as big as Rhode Island.
Hmm.
And he's doing battle with real estate developers, Native American tribes, and his own children. His kids are always in rivalry, and his daughter returns from a skyscraper office to torment her brother, who's a lawyer. It sounds
Uh,
interesting to me.
to me, it doesn't sound sexy though. I don't see any edge to that
Oh
other
no,
than
there's yeah. Well, I really, maybe it's my generation. I really don't care that much about sexy. I like a good story,
Yeah,
If
yeah.
there's some sex thrown in, that's okay too. But I'm sure there will be some sex thrown in. There always is.
Yeah, I need there to be a little bit of an edge other than just people talking business and land. You know what I mean? That can be a little
Yeah,
fighting over
yeah,
pieces of land in a fictional story can be a little tiresome. So I need some trysts. I need, an affair. That's what I expect. Like I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
like Desperate Housewives, Dallas style.
Well, another one that kind of interests me was American Woman. Now that premiered on June 7th on the Paramount Network also. This Bonnie Nolan, she portrays a 1970s trophy housewife. Her husband cheats on her, so she goes it all alone. She's got two kids, and she tries to go it all alone. She's got two friends. They don't worry about anything. They don't worry about working. The three of them, they spend their time shopping, drinking, and sharing their woes.
Oh, that
Um,
sounds about right. That sounds about like everyone I know in LA.
yes,
Nobody works. Nobody's doing
yeah.
anything but drinking.
Bonnie has no job, no money, no skills, but she's going to figure it out. So
Well,
it
yeah.
didn't get very good reviews. It didn't get very good reviews.
I
I
can't
don't
get
know.
excited about that show. For me, I obviously we know about it. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kyle Richards is producing it. For whatever that's worth, it's based on some part of her life. But to me, I've heard about it, and I don't have any motivation to find it. I don't even know if I get Paramount Network, and I'm not motivated to
I
even
don't
look.
either. I don't know.
I watch things through Apple TV. And I gotta go and download the app and sign in and all this stuff. To me, it's not worth it. I don't know if I hear something like rave reviews, like "Oh, you have to watch the show." I don't know. Maybe someone who's listening to this podcast, I'm sure someone's watched it by now. Let me know. Tweet at me or get at me on Instagram at It's Grants Rants. I want to know: is it worth me watching this show? What is it called again?
Yeah, American Woman.
Yeah, let me know. I don't know. I'm not
Now,
running to my TV for it.
this one here sounds pretty good to me. It comes on HBO, and it's going to start on July 8th. It's called Sharp Objects. It's a murder mystery show. It's for everyone. This Camille Prika, she's a haggard cub reporter. She just checked out of a psychiatric hospital. She loves swilling vodka and self-harm. She carves words into her own body.
Ugh.
It's really quite a thing, and the past is about to catch up with her.
What does
That
that mean?
sounds that's called Sharp Objects. It
Eh,
sounds good to me.
I don't
I don't.
know. I'll have to go on YouTube and watch the promo for it and see if it connects with me, you know?
There was one other show that kind of got my attention, and it might be very worth looking at, even for people of your generation. It's the Marlene Dietrich Marathon, and that's coming on TCM. It didn't say when, but it's got 5 of her later films. She was a wonderful, wonderful actress, very dramatic. And if you want to look at any of her shows, they're well worth seeing. They all come on late at night and during the night, so you have to record them.
Oh, yeah.
But 5 of her later films were A Touch of Evil, Witness for the Prosecution, Stage Fright, which she got an Oscar for, Rancho Notorious, and The Monte Carlo Story. If you really want to, if anybody's interested in seeing really good movies and a wonderful actress, that's what you can watch. It's well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love talking about old Hollywood on this show when we can sneak it in. So maybe it'd be
Yeah,
worth
these
looking
all
up.
come on. These come on late at night, like 11:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So if you go on, it's on TCM, and you can record them and look at them. She was a wonderful actress, and very, very dramatic. So that might be worth looking at.
Yeah.
I know I might try to catch a couple of those movies myself.
I want to ask you how you feel about this show. It's coming on the CW. It's called The Outpost. You can find it on the CW on July 10th. A 10-episode fantasy series. It follows Talon, the lone survivor of a race called Black Bloods, as she tracks down the mercenaries who murdered her entire village. It finds her traveling into a fortress on the edge of the civilized world. Along the way, she has supernatural powers that she'll have to learn how to control if she wants to save herself and defeat a religious dictator. This doesn't appeal to me in the least.
No, not to me either. I don't care for anything that isn't really real.
Yeah, and I know I don't know if there are vampires in it because they say something about black bloods, but I know you don't care for anything to do with vampires.
No, I don't care for anything that has to do with blood, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No, I don't care to have anything to do with vampires.
Yes.
So I don't think I'd be interested in that.
I don't think you would ever. I can't imagine a supernatural show that you would be interested in. I really can't take to it either. Like, that doesn't appeal to me at all. Especially, there's a religious dictator. Like,
Yeah, no.
it's
no.
too. It's just the times we're living in are just way too dark. I just can't justify
Yeah,
it.
no. I wouldn't be interested in that. Anything that has to do with the supernatural, it's not really real. You don't know. I can't relate to it.
Yeah.
So
there's
I don't
no
think
rules.
I'd be too interested in that.
Yeah. Well, those are the shows that are going to be on this summer. But if you're like me, you're watching Claws on TNT. The show came back for season 2, and I've been looking forward to its return. I made Granny June watch the first 2 episodes. We have not discussed this show together. What did you make of Claws?
Well, let me tell you. Hold on. First of all, I went online and I looked at the first season. So after I started with the second season, so it was a little bit confusing for me at first. I was trying to place all these people and where they were. But maybe it's because I'm of an older generation. The fact that, first of all, I didn't like the fact that they were under the control of this Russian mafia thing. They're doing money laundering, and it's, to me, the show was, as far as I'm concerned, The show is strictly trash.
Oh,
As far as I'm concerned,
yeah.
it's trash. If anybody of any generation enjoys looking at something like this, I feel sorry for them because it's so goddamn warped. I mean, first of all, every time you turn around, somebody's having sex. And they don't just hint at it. They actually show you, that they're practically doing it on the screen. The girls walk around with all their boobs sticking out all the time. It's very immoral. They, the girl, she got pregnant she got pregnant and she went and she had an abortion. And they made it look as though it was very okay to have it. She had the abortion and she was fine the next day. This is not sending a good moral thought to any young girls if they like this kind of stuff. I myself, it's not my kind of humor.
Well then.
No, not my kind of humor. Then the mother goes to bed with the daughter's husband. I mean, come on. This is insane. And they're under the Russian rule and all that. Oh, God.
Okay, well, here's my rebuttal to the whole thing. This show knows it's trash. And I wrote that down in my note. I said, literally, I said, Claus, Sundays on TNT, return June 10th, set in trashy community in Florida, full of stereotypes. So they're playing on the fact of these being real trash. And season 1 was the same way. It's all these people from different backgrounds. I don't believe it's celebrating that type of lifestyle. I think it's a depiction of the type of people that live in the ghetto in Florida, and it's just fictionalized around that. Now, granted, it does send messages that perhaps aren't the best, but I don't know. I look at the performances. I loved Dean Norris from Breaking Bad. His acting could be a little better in this, but it's kind of interesting to watch him because now he's playing the opposite. He's playing the drug distributor.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
And I
thought to myself, God, what a come down for him. I mean, playing that part, he looks ridiculous. Getting dressed in all those crazy outfits and everything. It's nuts. Yeah. I know it's probably a spoof. It's a spoof. But, I mean, who the hell wants to look at a spoof like that? I don't.
I don't know. I see it for what it is, and I see the entertainment value in it because I just think that they know it's ridiculous and they play it for serious. And I like good something. I like something that doesn't take itself so seriously. And I think the way that the show is edited and the way the costumes are, it's like a caricature of itself. And I love Niecy Nash. Niecy Nash is a fantastic actress. For those who don't watch, she plays Desna on the show, kind of the lead.
Yeah.
And she really kind of brings the show down to earth because, granted, her outfits are nuts, but she's the one that's kind of the voice of the moral authority and the only one with really a brain between her head. So I kind of enjoy her, and I love watching her act. So, I mean, I'm going to keep watching this show.
Well,
It's my thing.
I can see how the younger generation would get a kick out of this because, there's funny parts in it, like when all the guys start dancing and all that stuff, But to me, I kept looking at it and saying, what the heck is this? What is this? I mean, maybe if I had seen it right from the beginning, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But, starting with season 2, I'm trying to figure out, well, now who's this and how do they belong in here? And
right.
But to me, I wouldn't bother looking at it. I mean, I can see how some people would enjoy it. But, I mean, the whole thing is every time you turn around, somebody's screwing somebody else,
Yeah, I mean, I did let you know. I warned you. I said, I don't know if this is going to be your thing. It's a mix of everybody. It's a real mixture of people.
I'm not shocked or anything about it. I just can't understand how anybody would enjoy looking at something like that, where every time you turn around, they're screwing somebody else.
Yeah,
and then they want to deal in cocaine and and then they have to money launder and they're not making enough deposits and the Russian mafia or whatever the heck it is. And they shouldn't be. I don't think they should be talking about Russia right now with all the problems we've had about Russia. But I mean, I guess if you look at it in a funny way, it's okay. But
Yeah, I don't take it seriously. I just look at it for being
no,
as ridiculous as it
you
is.
can't take that seriously. It's so ridiculous that you can't
Yeah.
take it seriously. It's nuts.
Well, I've always loved some ridiculous TV, so
Yeah, I know.
I'll
You
keep
probably-
watching, but I don't expect you to keep watching, but I'll be there. So if anyone
know,
wants to tweet with me about it.
I might just watch because now I'm kind of like pulled into it. You
Oh,
know,
really?
it's almost like something you hate to watch, but you do it. You know?
Oh, really? Well, you guys can find, and you too, Granny, you can find it on TNT on Sunday nights. So
Yeah, yeah.
now let's get into my rant of the day.
Okay.
Grant's Rant of the Day.
My rant of the day is going to this Bachelorette contestant, Lincoln Adam. I don't even know if that's the correct pronunciation of his last name, but he probably doesn't know either because he seems so ignorant on the show. He asserted that the earth is flat. Now,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I mean, I can't with this. Like, you know, my girl, Sherri Shepherd, you know, she had to go. Not only did she say it on The View, she had to come back to clarify what she meant. I mean, you know, it's what an embarrassment. So ignorant. I just can't get over it. That especially nowadays, you know, so stupid. This guy's 26 years old. He's educated, you know, but I mean, is he really?
Yeah, but a week before he went on the show, he was accused of indecent assault and battery,
Well,
and they didn't even know that.
yeah, that's awful. That's like, how do you not know that? That's public record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why
ridiculous.
I like Unreal, because they let you know that all this stuff does go on these Bachelorette, that Bachelor and Bachelorette stuff. I mean, come on. I've had enough already of those programs, especially after watching Unreal. I can't believe anything that happens on them. You know, it's all so fake.
Well, now, did you see this promo for this show called The Proposal?
The Proposal? No.
It's from the producers of The Bachelorette and The Bachelor, and it's a 1 hour game show. And at the end, somebody gets proposed to. You compete
Oh.
for your fiance,
Oh,
and it's like it literally is a game show. Like, it's not like they get to know each other. They figure it out within an hour.
yeah, give me a break.
What a mockery of marriage, especially when LGBT people in this country, it took them so long to be recognized for their civil unions and to be considered married. And now to make it such a game show. You know,
Yeah.
and people, you know, religious folks were so protective of the sacrament of marriage, and now look at what it's become. So, you know, I reject the whole thing. I have no interest in watching strangers get proposed to on ABC.
No, not at all.
Getting back,
Another thing that's been way overdone are all these talent shows, you know, dancing, singing. I mean, there's so many of them now. They're saturated with them.
yeah, well, that's the summer for sure. It's all that type of stuff. I don't really care for those shows. I just don't watch them. I'm done. I don't think I'll ever pick up a phone and vote for somebody, or it's just not my thing. I did that back in the early 2000s. You know, I'm not that interested in casting a vote. I'll watch the shows, but I'm not that invested.
No.
Getting back to this rant of the day, this kid, this Lincoln, he says, when you look out of a plane, everything is flat. Why does
Yeah.
the water not fall on humankind if it's on top of us? Doesn't he know about gravity? About
No.
the tides?
I guess not. Why? He ought to ask himself, why don't I fall off the earth if it's round? He doesn't know he's held by gravity, jackass.
Lincoln, I don't know what's going on with you, but I don't know how in 2018 this is a thing. This has been my rant of the day.
That's my opinion!
Yeah, well, that's a good rant because that is unreal that anybody should think that. I mean, I can't believe that anybody today would think that.
And not only think that, but go on national TV and question it is even more ridiculous. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
well,
Like,
yeah.
some people, if they feel a certain way, they keep that like this kitchen table
Yeah,
talk,
yeah.
but I don't get it. Anyway,
Yeah.
one last thing. Did you hear that Project Runway is returning to Bravo next year?
Oh, it is?
Yeah, are you interested in that?
No.
No. Oh, well, then.
The beginning was very exciting to me. I enjoyed it, but then it got so monotonous. They did the same thing over and over and over. There were no more surprises,
Yeah.
kind of dull, kind of wore itself out.
Well, I hope that you guys found something to either watch or shun on TV this summer. So that all comes from TV Guide. And we'll be back in a moment. We're going to be taking a look at Heather Locklear. She's been in the news a lot so far this summer, and it doesn't look good. And I want to get Granny June's take, maybe some form of advice. And we'll be back in a moment with Granny June Flori.
Okay.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word.
There are a lot more rants to come.
Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms.
And now, back to the show.
And we're back talking with Granny June Flori. She's on the line. We're celebrating episode number 98. Welcome back.
Hey there. I'm still here.
Still here, still going. Let's talk about Heather Locklear. She's in the news again. Page 6 says she's been released after a 3-day stay in a psych ward after a 5150. She's been hospitalized after threatening to shoot herself, and this is after she thought her fiance cheated on her. It's just been one thing after the next with her, and I have a bunch of stuff that, she's been in and out of rehab, and she's assaulted her parents.
I know.
What a fall from grace.
Oh, she was such a beautiful girl. And she was so wonderful when she was on Melrose Place.
Yeah.
And what has happened to her? I can't imagine why she's going through all this. But I mean, she really, really was very, very combative this last time. She was attacking her own parents. She was ready to shoot herself. My God. I should think she'd have more than a 3-day stay in a psychiatric hospital if you get that bad.
Right, but she just left rehab following a battery incident. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I unfortunately don't see this ending well. I don't know. Mental health is a real thing. And I don't feel like there's enough talk about that. And I think, I said this yesterday, I question, how can I say this nicely? I question why the First Lady of the United States, her mission is this online bullying. I think now more than ever, the most relevant thing to discuss is mental health and how that plays into so much, even into these mass shootings and just day-to-day living. I mean, like this woman, for example, she had everything. I mean, mental health is a real thing, and I wish there was more of a focus on that.
I think, the thing is this, that she probably can get any help that she needs. But the thing is, if people don't follow what they're supposed to do, then it's almost useless. She probably over-medicates herself or doesn't medicate herself with the right prescription drugs or whatever. And she probably drinks. You can't mix liquor with those kind of pills. It's very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So, you don't know. I mean, but mental health is really a big problem. It's a very difficult thing for people to get over.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame. Wasn't she back with Jack Wagner for a while?
Yeah, and then they decided to split. He gave a statement. He's still in full support of her. I mean, they share, I believe, a daughter together, and he's still supporting her. And she's got people that have reached out to the press to, give her words of encouragement. I don't know. I mean, I've always been kind of curious, what the next step in her career would be at this point. But I don't know if she should, I don't. Maybe the career is over. I can't imagine. I'd love for her to be able to take some time and come back. But I don't know. I mean, it's
Well,
pretty
yeah.
rock bottom right now.
She's been having a problem for a long time. This has been going on for quite a while. And
Yeah.
she's got to really get a hold of herself and bring herself back before she can take on any responsibility. She wouldn't be a good bet for somebody to take her into some kind of a series or something because she's too unstable right now. They
Yeah.
have to, when you go into something like that, you have to be dependable. You
Bef-
can't, let
Yeah.
people down. So she's
Before
got to really straighten herself out. I hope she does.
before she attacked her parents and then got the 5150, I believe this was after she had assault charges against her with her fiance. Andy Cohen was talking to Lisa Rinna about, hinting that maybe, she would be a good fit for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, she would be if she was stable enough.
Right.
I don't know if she would be stable enough to get into that fray with all those women, and
I don't
accept,
think so. Yeah.
criticisms and, she's very fragile at this point. So it's too bad because she would be good at something like that. She would fit in very well. But I really can't understand what set her off on this downward spiral. It must have been something that happened to her in her life that
Yeah.
probably we'll never find out about. But
Yeah.
it's a shame because she's a young person. She's not old. She's got many years ahead of her, and she can't live like this for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
I feel badly for her parents too.
Yeah, because she's, I believe, 59, so her parents can't be young, and to have to,
No.
contend with all this, and then
Oh,
even being
terrible.
assaulted. I mean,
I know, that's scary. I mean, when you become a threat to other people besides yourself, that's not good. That's why I can't understand why they released her after only 3 days.
yeah, that's questionable.
Somebody like that should be, in the hospital for months until they can come out of whatever they're in.
I mean,
mean,
yeah, I mean, even Real Housewives, Luann spent more time in rehab than she did.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know Luann wasn't in for a 5150 at a mental hospital, but even she was in rehab for longer than this one had a 5150. But I don't know how long you can hold people for that. So I don't know the legalities around holding someone involuntarily. So
If they go in voluntarily, they can leave whenever they want. But if they're brought in against their will,
yeah, that's what this was. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't understand why she was let go after only 3 days. I mean, she's going to go back home and probably go down the hill a little further. Hope not, but
Yeah, I hope not. Well, we're sending our best to Heather Locklear.
what a waste of a beautiful life,
Yeah,
A real waste of a beautiful person and a beautiful life.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's switch gears. You wanted to talk about a movie that you saw on the Epix channel.
Oh, yeah, I saw a movie. If anybody has a chance to see this movie, it's called Mother. Oh, it's got Jennifer Lawrence in it. And it's really, really weird, I'm telling you. But it holds your interest. It starts and ends with her in bed, and she's turning over, and she says, "Baby." And she's in this house with her husband, and one man comes to the door, and then before you know it, he brings his wife. And then before you know it, they have 2 children that come, and they're homeless. So her husband welcomes them, and she's kind of a little leery about it. She said, you don't even know these people. Well, before you know it, the whole house is taken over by all these people that get the idea that they're welcome in this house. They destroy everything in her house. They help themselves to everything in her refrigerator. And she keeps telling them, you can't do this. You have to leave. You have to leave. And they don't pay any attention to her. And it becomes a real riot. There's like hundreds of people in her house breaking stuff. And meanwhile, they start to set fires in the house. And she's pregnant. And then she starts to get labor pains. And she's trying to have this baby in between this terrible, terrible crowd of people that are ruining everything in her house and carrying on, and she's got to fight her way through the crowd to find a place where she can give birth to this baby. Anyway, I won't tell you what happens after that, because if you want
don't
to
spoil it. Yeah.
it holds your interest up until the very end. And of course, Jennifer Lawrence does a great job acting.
Yeah, I have not seen it, but I've heard it was really gripping.
Oh, it is. If you get a chance, it's on Epix, and it's called Mother.
Yeah. Maybe I can pick it up on HBO or something. Yeah, I'll look it up.
It's really a scary thing, because it could happen to any of us. Once you let somebody in, before you know it, others start coming, and they take over your whole house.
That is the worst case scenario. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and she had no control over it, you know? It's quite a gripping movie if you get a chance to look at it. And the scenes, the way they film the scenes, it's unbelievable. The way things happen, and the way the crowd does stuff, and the filming is wonderful. The scenes are breathtaking in a scary way. But if you have a chance, or anybody that's listening to this, try to see that movie. It's very, very good.
Well, when you were here last, or perhaps it was 2 times ago, you were here to promote your book. And the name of that book, again, is My Italian Family, Life in the Past Lane. And, you're moving right along. I understand book number 2 is in a good shape, a good place.
Oh, yeah. All I have to do is get the covers on it, decide on the covers, and it'll be sent off to be printed. The second book is called More Memories and Mental Snapshots. And the first part of it is more memories about my life growing up and everything. And then the second part is all little stories that I wrote about different incidences that happened. Some are sad and some are funny. And then the third part, which I didn't mention in the title, are a lot of the poems that I wrote when I was very, very young, like 10 years old, 11 years old, 15, 16. I wrote a lot of poems at that time in my life. And a lot of them are kind of dark. Some of them are funny and light, but a lot of them are very dark, because I went through a dark period when I was 15 and 16. My father was very ill and dying of cancer. And so, a lot of the poems are about death. But, it's going to be printed. And now I'm on a third book, which is fiction. I'm halfway through. I just finished chapter 19, and I figure I'm going to have at least maybe 25 to 30 chapters. And this book is a fiction, but it's based on different people that I've come across in my lifetime. A lot of them are not with us anymore. They're gone. And all the little things that happened to them in their life, I've kind of mixed everybody up.
Like you've taken some inspiration.
Yeah. I mix them up, like something that happened to one person, I make it happen to another person. Mm-hmm. But it's most of it is taken from real things that have happened. Of course, I fill in the blanks with fiction in between. And when I went to my writing class yesterday, they got such a kick out of the last chapter that I wrote. They thought it was the best chapter so far.
Oh, good for
and
you.
they wait because they want to know what's going to happen next and say, oh, my God, now what's going to happen? And I'll say, I don't know, but I'll think of something.
So in addition to the second book that's near completion, you've been writing this third one that you're talking about since like February or March. Subsequently since. I mean, just every week it's you're in edits and rewriting it and new chapters, and you're still typing all of this up as well.
Oh yeah. I have all the chapters edited in the computer, so that when it's ready to be printed, all they have to do is put them all on a flash drive, and the book is done.
I remember we had a conversation after you were like almost done with the second book, and you were trying to figure out what to do next, because you said, I've written a lot about the past. I've told my stories, but I want to keep writing. And I remember encouraging you to use a prompt or to write fiction. And I said, just think of something. And I'm glad that you've kind of married the two. In the next one, you are writing fiction, but you're also still drawing on life experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some of the things that happened to the main character in this book happened to me. Some of them happened to my mother. Someone actually did really happen to this person that I have in the back of my mind that I'm kind of basing the book on. But I switch all the characters around and make different things happen to the wrong person,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, at the end of the book, I'll put in that I'm not responsible for any coincidence that,
Oh, yeah, you got to cover your behind, yeah.
Got to cover myself, yeah. But I'm enjoying it, and I enjoy, it's fun because I can make the characters do whatever I want them to do. I'm in charge of them,
Mm-hmm.
So I let them do a lot of different things, and some of them are good and some of them aren't. So I have to use my imagination.
Yeah. Well, I really wanted to have you on the podcast because even though we're having this live show in June, it's here in LA. Unfortunately, you just can't make it. But I wanted you to be able to have a voice close to this, celebration of the show. What have you? And it was time. It was time that we did a show.
Oh yes. Oh, I wish I could be there. If I could fly out there and be there, I would be there in a minute. But I just can't do it. I can't make it. I'm not up to it. But I hope it's a big, big success. It sounds wonderful, all the preparations you've done. I hope you get a lot of people, and I'm sure it's going to be wonderful because you always plan everything right down to the last detail.
Yeah, no, I really have with this. I mean, I've got legal pads full of notes. It's like planning a small wedding, as I've said previously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've set myself up really well. I'm actually kind of proud of that. Like, I didn't want to have to rush at the last minute. So I've got everything almost, completely set and ready to go. Of course, there's always a few things. And then the day of, there are things you got to do like balloons. You can't do everything before, but it's a fantastic feeling to know that at the time of recording this podcast, it is now going to be 8 days away. And I'm not scrambling and I'm not sweating and I'm not nervous. Like, I feel like, okay, I'm right where I should be with the party planning. So,
yeah, good.
But then, thank you for your support because you have supported me. You're still involved in this endeavor, and that means a lot to me, and I appreciate it.
I wish there was something more I could do. If I was out there, I would. But so many miles away, all I can do is, as usual, pray and hope that everything will go well and it'll be a big success and everybody will enjoy it. And I'm sure it's going to be great.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds as though it's going to be wonderful. So I wish you the best. I really do. And, I'm always in back of you all the time. Even though I'm not there, I always have your back. Yeah,
we were saying the other night, we need each other. So we're in this together. Even though we may not be neighbors, we're still in this together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I love you for coming on. I love you in general. And thank you for the chat.
Love you too. It's been wonderful. Anytime you want to do a podcast, I'm here. I always have plenty of words to say.
Well, and you always have plenty to promote too. I mean, not for nothing, but there's always something to promote. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let you know when my book is complete.
Yes.
And people can buy it on Amazon.
Sounds good. And you can look out for that. I'll, of course, let everybody know as well. And we'll talk again soon. And thanks for coming on.
Send my love to everyone. And I hope everything goes well on the day. And I'll be so happy to hear about it. And make sure you take enough pictures.
Yeah, no, I just secured another photographer. So we'll be good.
Good.
All right. I love you for listening. And we'll be back with more rants.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter @It's Grants Rants.
Cover art created by Howie Ronay. Voiceover by Aw Yeah. Original theme music composed by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.